Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of SMEs and Virtualization in Cloud. I'm Kong Yang
And
with
I'm
Solar Winds.
sorry.
No, you're good.
And I'm Todd Muirhead with VMware.
Hello, Todd.
Hey, Kong.
Long time no see.
I know.
On today's episode, we're going to cover a few things. We've covered the VMware vSphere 6 launch.
Yes.
There's a Austin vMug that's coming to town in the first week of April that we'll be covering in this episode.
Definitely. It's going to be really big this year, I heard.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people
Exactly.
at the convention center this time around. So, yeah, it should be really cool.
April
The
7th.
VMugs usually have great content and get a good turnout here in Austin.
Yes. Guess who's the keynote? Tommy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
So, so with that theme, hopefully we'll see you guys at the VMUG on April 7th. It's a full day event. Like Todd mentioned, it's at the convention center. And our performance counter of the week this week is actually 3 in 1.
It's like a super week, huh?
Yes, it's like super latent.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the different disk average latency counters. So there's
Yes.
there's multiples because we're basically measuring the latency at different points in the stack. So there's the kernel average latency, or K average.
Yes.
There's the device average latency, or D average, and then there's the guest average latency, or G average.
Yes.
That was the 3, right?
That was the 3, and the G average, the guess average is the sum of the kernel and the device. Makes sense?
That's
they're
how
related.
the guest perceives the latency. So
Exactly.
from the moment it leaves the guest till it comes back to the guest is what it's measuring.
Exactly. And now that we've completed that round trip of that performance counter, we can get into the madness. So this is our tie-in into March Madness, and it should be really interesting. There was some there's some, I guess, controversy around some of the selections at the end. 2 big teams, University of Texas and UCLA, denied 2 smaller teams, Murray State and Colorado State, both of whom who had 27 wins. They were in the top. Both of them were in the top 60 of RPI. In fact, Colorado State had an RPI that was in the top 30, and 27 wins wasn't good enough for them.
Yeah, I mean, so I think there's always teams that lose out. So I didn't go to UT, and you didn't go to UT, but
Yeah.
being in Austin, we get a lot of coverage from them. And I can't say that they are a good team, probably better than what their record reflects. And the Big 12 was really tough this year, and they lost some close games, specifically to Iowa State, where they played well, but they did lose to a good team. So
Iowa State's a top 10 team.
I can see Texas getting in. Granted, I haven't really followed Murray State that close this year, so it's maybe not that fair. But I do think that for the most part, they did a pretty good job this year of getting the right teams in, and it's way better than football.
It is a hard job. It's just as hard as picking the top 100 blogs in virtualization.
Yeah, right.
in there. But I think the thing that struck me was the interview with the chairman of the selection committee. He couldn't answer that simple question. Like he did a brain freeze live on air on why UCLA and UT were picked over Murray State and Colorado.
He's been locked in a room for 6 hours or whatever it is. So.
No, but he could have came up with Big 12 was deep, Pac-12 was deep, in there, and it took him. I mean, on live air, if you're silent for like 10 seconds, it's like an eternity. So it was like, yeah. University of Texas and UCLA were both hot, but
We gotta find that, link that in. It's on YouTube, right? We gotta.
Yeah, it should be on YouTube, but it should be exciting. March Madness is always a great time in there. There's always going to be probably a Cinderella team that comes up. Oh, hi! Looks like we didn't quite end that episode on the right note.
We're back.
We're back! Because we didn't get a chance to pick.
The big predictions, yeah.
Yes. And who's your pick, Todd, to win March Madness?
So I'm going to go with Notre Dame. It's a little bit of a surprise team, but they've been really strong, so I think they've got a good chance.
They've been hot. They did win the ACC. And I'm going with a Wildcat team, but not that Wildcat team from Kentucky. The other Wildcat team from the University of Arizona. So I'm picking those boys
The
to,
Desert Wildcats.
yes, to get hot because I think their guard play and their 3 and 4s are gonna be able to match up well with Kentucky in the Final Four, and then if they get past that,
They're good. I mean, I'd like to pick Kentucky. Big part of me wants to, but I mean, it just almost never works out that the big favorite wins the whole thing. So
yeah, it is tough.
yeah,
The crown is heavy on that. So, all right, folks. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this episode of So Say SMEs. Tune in, next week and let us know what you think.
yes. Good luck with your picks in the big tournament.
See you next time.
Thanks.